Wednesday night. And this Wednesday, I want to do an AfroEconomics update because so much is going on, even for someone that's been doing it my entire career, has been in this stock market. Mm, mm, mm. I'm going to tell you, woo, this is my 30th year in this business. I started as a stockbroker in 1993. What in the world? Oh my goodness. And it hasn't stopped having fun yet. How you doing, Mr. Noor? It's so good to see you. That is like royalty-free music. I found it. This streaming service is the gift that I buy that keeps on giving. I keep taking time. I want to take a little bit of time and get to know that what I'm paying all this money for. I keep finding different things. It kept giving me these little strikes. So we get to hear this little music. We get to hear this stuff. They said I'm gonna have to. This makes this session like really cool because y'all hear that music, and the title of that is chill. Oh, we're chilling. How you doing? How are you doing, Mr. Harden? Yes, indeed. Yes. This is a discussion, and I need some feedback on how was this week for you, Mr. Harden? How's this week? Like, how did you feel about it as an entrepreneur? You know, as an entrepreneur, Willie Harris, how do we feel about it when we see that entrepreneurs can come together and actually bring down a bank? Do we think that they really did that in California? That was it really those companies that just all came together and did it at the exact same time? And all of those businesses that bank gave those loans to and helped them start their companies actually turned their back on that bank at the same time. Do you think that really is the truth? That's what they're saying. So much so that the regulators had to come in and just kind of slow the madness down. They said, we got to take over the bank. We got to make sure that everybody doesn't take this out at the same time. We're going to just slow the roll and make sure everybody can get their money. Whoa. And then now there's a new boss and the bank is still there. Yeah, Chris Williams and two Chris's came in at the same time. Isn't that something? Queen Howard, yes indeed. And someone decided to call 844-522-7926 right now. I did put it on social media. I wonder if they were really like calling like right then. Leave a message if you're actually watching and you did do that, because that is that number ringing. And then leave a message for membership information. Or you can hit the QR code. I'm going to put it up in a while. And you can swipe to join right there. You know, the powerful part about membership is on Saturday, when this bank started doing this funny business, I knew it was going to be interesting for just in the investment market. And I knew that stocks, at least in the financial service banking sector, Mr. Jenkins, that it was going to be funky. And it's been funky in a James Brown serious kind of way this week for banks. No, even the big ones. You know, so you say, like, why, if it's the small banks, now WIDA, And Moses, y'all turned on y'all cameras. I was going to ask y'all a question. Now, that if the small bank is the one that they're worried about closing, or small and regional, or just smaller banks that they're saying are weak, and that are weak, and that did close, then and now there's like a Swiss bank. Not really an American problem, but it's just showing that there's a global impact of a financial crisis that we all touch and affect each other. So, tomorrow we're gonna have to, see how this Swiss bank is gonna get through their challenges. But so the small bank, you would think that some would think that the small banks would then the big banks would do great, right? But typically it is the big banks that would try to make it better for the small banks. So they'll go and try to buy and save the day for the small banks. And I was thinking about that because all of the people that I saw interviewed, the business owners that I saw interviewed, they said, where are you going to take your money? Where are you going to take your deposits? And they said they were going to the same big bank. I'm not going to give them a commercial because they wouldn't give me a commercial. Let's go like, so I'm going to say their name. They're not going to say my name. And then, so they're going to the same big bank. This big bank is going to have to keep their word because you know what the big bank said. The big bank said, I'm going to help you pay your bills. I'm going to loan you the money that they were loaning you. And I'm going to make your life better over here. So this big bank now is going to mess up their balance sheet. And that could be why you see these big banks like struggling is, that their stock price starts to struggle as well because shareholders say, how are you going to respond to this? Are you going to do something stupid like go and try to buy something just because it's cheap? And there's something for individual investors to see in that, because a lot of times you'll go to the store and buy something just because it's cheap. And you go, I couldn't resist. It was just such a good deal. It was such a good price. And that makes no sense to me, Reverend Bozeman. How if you don't need it, it is always a bad decision if you look at yourself individually as having a balance sheet also. So if you look at your assets, your liabilities, and you really don't have the money for it, so you got to go and use a credit card, but you want to get it because you're like, this is such a good price for it, right? So they have to get it. So they go and use a credit card because they got such a good price for it, they feel. So they bought something they really didn't need and they couldn't afford. So now they have that debt on their balance sheet. They have that asset as well. But that asset is declining in value. Definitely on a personal purchase. They're not even buying up shares of some other company that they think might go up in the future. People are, when they're in that situation, because there's these great big sale signs outside, they're just going and spending money they know they don't need to be spending just because it says sale. West East said they stolen. Who have they stolen from? Who have the bank stolen from West East? That is un-American. Inappropriate. He said the banks have stolen. Oh my goodness. They would not. Don't get me started on this horrible customer service out here. Oh my goodness. Customer service has gone like to the bottom of, to the, as some would say, I don't know what they mean by it, but it's appropriate, pits of hell. Customer service is over. If there's anybody else out there listening and you have been in a situation where customer service at a business and they act like they don't know what they're doing, like they could care less about taking care of you, please let me know if you've gone through it also. And I mean, we really need this AfroEconomics more than anything else in the world, if you really knew from my point of view, because I am not connected to a product, thank God. So because I'm not connected to a product, my clients have things in all these different products. And when I'm dealing with these people trying to look out for my client, they're horrible. And a lot of them are working from home and they could care less about the client. Care less. And I really feel sorry for people who are out there and don't know what to ask, don't know what to say, don't know anything about tax strategies, and you've decided that you don't even deserve for $30 a month to be a member of AfroEconomics, to put yourself into at least a more powerful position to get some empowerment. And our private meetings, it's absolutely free. There's a free level. We have to pick this up. We have to make a commitment to starting to think about our own financial goals and putting yourself into a position of networking, so that if we do get into a position of predatory lending again, like West East was saying, where they stole something, or, and we know from 2007, 2008, 2009, that our community was raped. And not one person in Congress cared about reinstating Black wealth or reinstating our credit that was destroyed for so many of our people during those years. It's still there. People are still trying to correct their credit. They still lost their house. And I believe that if we had something like AfroEconomics strong at that time, we could have had a voice and say to Barack Obama that we deserve to be addressed before you start handing out checks to these banks about how they need to make sure that they're secure. Let's make sure that some individual homeowners are secure. Let's make sure these people who are being kicked out of their house are secure. But that didn't happen because we're not doing and making the moves and thinking that something like this is important. And you can't just go to Afro. You can, though. You can go and sign up for your empowering yourself, at least on the no excuse free level. I can't figure out where there would be a benefit to me other than that maybe if that does happen, I am Black in my community, I would be protected as well. But I think we spend too much time trying to figure out, oh, that might benefit her, or that might benefit them. The average Black person might actually be helped, and I'm better than them. We have got to get out of that mentality. We have got to. And start realizing that when it all comes down to it, ask O.J. Simpson, ask any other Black person that got in trouble, ask Doug Wilder going through the airport in Richmond when they slammed him up against the wall. They did not know he was the first Black governor in the United States of America. All they saw was a Black man, and they slammed him against the wall. T.J. Holmes, Mike Irvin, kicking him out of a hotel at 2 o'clock in the morning just because he got accused of touching somebody on the elbow. We got to get the knowledge so that we are making better choices. And I believe that if we really have better choices, because I know that in 2007, 2008, 2000, that I was doing mortgages and I insisted that my clients lock in 30-year rates. Don't do that interest only. Don't do that 5-year. Then you'll figure it out later and you'll refi later. And this, all of those trickery and all of that didn't happen. Wasn't going to happen. They're doing it with me or not. And the reason that I started doing it, it was because we were going out there doing all those crazy loans. And we have people with no income buying $500,000 houses. We can't buy stuff we can't afford. I can't do it. We can't do it. How you doing? I said, oh, Reverend Bozeman, I need to calm down. Don't tell me calm down. We to turn your camera on. Look at her. She keeps me busy. Weeda was out there on Facebook. She was in the studio. Weeda is busy. But I don't know if y'all remember, but my point is that everything that's cheap doesn't mean that you should buy it. And just like these big banks shouldn't buy up every cheap bank, just as these stocks are just starting to fall, that it really is a threat to someone that owns big banks, because the big banks will get greedy, and you have to look at the banks that you own in your portfolio. Are they disciplined enough to not buy garbage? No, because just because it gets cheap doesn't mean it's going to blend well with your corporate structure. Doesn't mean, that this is going to be a good move for your company over the long term. No, and so how that parallels with us personally, I was saying, is that we do that shopping on our own. Or even there's so many people that have a home or buy a home and they're really not ready for the house, but they just go because they're in this program and it says you can get a house with no money down, and they do it. I personally don't think anybody should buy a house with no money down. Am I wrong? I think you should at least own the doorknob. Like if you get a house and you don't have any money down, Mr. Jenkins, like, you don't own any of it.
A lot of houses would never get sold if that was the case.
Oh, I know. And they do it. They set up these little programs. You come to this class and you can get this. And then all you're doing is renting from the government. Now you're just a glorified renter. Now you've got all of these extra expenses, but you're still just renting. But you're a long-term renter. Lord knows. You gotta really figure out, and unfortunately, that will happen, and it'll be in our neighborhood. And unfortunately, our neighborhoods don't grow in value the way that they should. So that has impacted Black wealth because of the slow growth of real estate in our community. That's really sad. Because we put all our money into real estate. But if we were taking that same money and putting it into talking to me about it, and I said, let's get this allocation into this 401k, right? Let's look at this 457 at work. And see, I had a client tell me the other day, she was talking to the people at work about the work plan. And in the work plan, they were telling her, they have now, the Labor Department puts a calculation of what you'll get in the future. And she was so disgusted by what it said that she was going to get in the future. She said, no, you stop taking my money. Stop taking my money. If that's all I'm going to have. And I said, that is the exact opposite response to the reason that they put it in there. That is a requirement now that the Labor Department says you have to have a calculation of what if you retire with this amount, and what a guaranteed annuity would pay out for this amount, for the rest of your life, blah, 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 blah. And it's supposed to motivate us to, whoa, I'm behind. But she had the exact opposite effect. They didn't think about that. They did not think about that. But that's going to happen to a lot of people, especially in our community. Because first of all, they just put that calculation in there, and they didn't explain to them that it's not really calculating the real return that you could get. We could do better than that. It's just giving you a modest return, So you're talking to me, so you're a member of AfroEconomics, so we're setting up this portfolio. We're trying to outperform that. You could get a raise next year. You can save more. We could do better than that. But they're not talking. And some would argue that's not their responsibility. Right? That's not the responsibility. We're supposed to figure that out. But no, because they have a responsibility to explain that you should not be able to just put something in that her statement that just all of a sudden appears, and you're not explaining why this is to help you, how this is supposed to help you. Like, at least put on it great news, something. Or give an alternative. If you increase by this much, you could have, do something positive. It totally discouraged her. So, and it really made me think, wow, that is really the way things are approached for us so much. And you remember, Reverend Boson, how you taught me, you shared one time, and I had never heard the term before about imposter theory. What do you call it? Yours is muted, but
imposter syndrome.
Oh, imposter syndrome. I found some research on last Thursday, and I did a screenshot of it. And it was talking about that the impact of race was not factored into that study when they first discovered that.
Oh, really?
Theory, yes. And they were saying that how different it would have been if they looked at it as the impact of race on why I might feel that way.
Yeah.
Because that's how we might feel on a lot of financial stuff. And it's terrifying us, and we just give up.
Yeah, I felt that way in advertising in Hollywood because I was always surrounded by educated white people. And I was always amazed that I could still beat them.
Yeah. And the imposter syndrome is not what you had. What you had was some other level of it, because you had I'm a black man who is dealing with their stereotype of me also.
Yeah.
Because like I had some paperwork I sent in for a client the other day, and they did not process her paperwork because they said some numbers were cut off in the corner, not a barcode, just some numbers. and they wanted her to do the paperwork all over again, even though the paperwork was notarized and everything. So they knew it was the client. They had spoken to her. They told her money was on the way. But then they said, oh, these numbers have been cut off. So instead of calling me, they just sent something out, but I happened to check on it, and it said, it didn't say it had been sent out. It said like NIGO, blah, 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 whatever, which I found out meant not in good order, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, wait a minute. Yesterday, it says this on the notes, that it's on the way. She wants to know when it's going to get there. Now you're saying it's not in good order. And then I said, tell a supervisor to call me. Nobody calls. And I told them, I said, if this were a white male with $4 million, he'd have his money yesterday. You are holding on to this woman's money because you know I'm black, so you think she's probably black, and you're just holding on to the money. And you want her to start it over because you don't think that somebody's going to say no. But listen to this. No, she's not doing it again. And you're going to send her the money. And I don't care if she writes it on a piece of napkin with a notary. That's her money. Send her the money. They were so mad. I was like, I don't care. You're going to send her the money. I mean, days went on. Days went on. Days went on. And then the client, then I know for a fact they had sent that money out, but they kept telling me no. Because on the day that they said they said, you know what? We talked to the vice president and we have decided that we're going to, I said, and he said, but I'm going to tell you, our page number is very important. I said, it's a compliance issue. I said, I have been in this business 30 years, 28 of which I have been the chief compliance officer of my firm. Never is a page number part of a customer issue. Never. He said, well, our policies and procedures are for you. Compliance is for the customer's best interest. You are confused. You send her that money. Here's like, egos. I was like, so you just get off on making sure a black woman don't have her money. You just get off on it. So Justin, that was his name. When you go home, get in front of the mirror and say, I got that black lady's money. I feel good about myself. She don't get her money tonight. I was like, it's not like that. I said, then what is it, Justin? Because you can get off on making somebody happy. It's her money. What in the world? How can you find pleasure in not giving somebody their own money? But power. And they were telling that I'm supposed to have imposter syndrome over that. No, you got imposter syndrome. You know what I'm saying? That's him. Because you need to. And then one of the days, this little girl was like, it's not because she's black. I said, you need to be quiet. You need to be just right on quiet and watch. Just watch. Because there's no way that you would know what it's like to be black. So don't say it's not because you're black. Because there's no way that they'll be holding on to this money if this was a white man's money. And I see it over and over and over. I was thinking about the FDIC. I said, let's see a little black bank go under. And let's see how fast the FDIC makes sure that those people have their money. Because they had their money by Monday. That was amazing. That government took that bank over on Friday. The insurance was going out on Monday. That's faster than a car settlement. You won't even get paid on your car. Well, sometimes if Progressive come to the scene of the accident, you know what I'm saying? But that was everybody. That's her money. Do you know how much trouble the government's going to be in If any black bank that has FDIC runs into trouble and they don't get everybody their money by the next business day, we better remember. We better remember, because that is our insurance just as much as it's theirs. And those were
Right.
businesses. Those were businesses. They were zip. I've never seen anything like it. And look, and Biden came out and talked about it. Don't you worry, we're going to get you your money. We're going to get to the bottom of this. And my client just can't get her own money no more.
Didn't they go above and beyond though? Because then he made everybody whole, and that's not really. They didn't really have to
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
But he gave everybody money.
Yeah, that's beyond the insurance.
Yeah.
Everybody whole. I'm telling you, he is stupid, stupid, stupid. But I'm going to tell you, we better record it. But it don't even matter if you play back. Like I told them, you better not have in your book not one person that you issued with the number missing. You let me find one. Let me find one person whose money got out with that number off. Because first of all, if she prints out a page, it shouldn't be cutting off. You're the one with your margins off, because the client printed it out at home, and their graph, their number was so low that her printer, missed it out. So, but their logo came out on the other side. So, in my opinion, your stuff is whack. If the number's important, put it somewhere else or make it higher. This had to have been an issue again, but it doesn't supersede a notarized signature. You're sick. That's it. And we need to start saying no, because you see what they'll do. Like you said, they made them whole. The next time, that's what I told a client when she went to the credit union, and the credit union was holding her money. And I said, do you know how many millions of dollars of deposits you have put into there, and they holding your deposit? I said, you get there, you get them on the phone. I tore them up. Then he tried to tell my client, well, when you come in, no, you tell my client what she's supposed to do. You are the customer service people. When she walks up to the teller should say, we are going to be holding on to, and then she'll say no. But y'all didn't say you're going to be keeping half of her money for 14 days. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I don't understand why we deal with these credit unions. I don't see the advantage when you need something like that and they treat you worse than a regular bank would. And a lot of the things that the bank can do, they can't even do. I don't even have to go into most banks anymore. You want to do a deposit, take a picture, deposit's in there. Do. Money is there. We have to, but if we tolerate this, you know how much money they make off our money if we let them do that? And then they had the nerve to return a check that came in while they were holding it. There is no way a decent bank would do that when they know that you have the money there. They sent her check, the other check, back, and then charged her $30 fee for a 40-year customer. That's not going to happen. On my brokerage accounts, every check that comes in, I've even had a client write a check. I've had a client write a check for like $50,000 and forget to tell me to sell something. They call me, JB, this person wrote a $50,000 check. Do they need to sell something? I say, yeah, I think so. So did I sell something? But we do not send the check back. What is that called? Customer service. When you're at the wrong place, what would they do? return your $50,000 check and make you look stupid. And they look at you. Well, how you gonna write me a bad $50,000 check? You know? But we do business with people who that don't care, that just don't care. Like, we'll just do business with people who are no way gonna go fight for you. Y'all know I'm gonna fight for you. That's just ridiculous. Well, we do. We don't have any expectation. No expectation. But I'm the kind of person and the kind of business that if somebody does something for me, I'm loyal to the end. I would not have left that bank. If they said, JB, we're going down for it, I'm down with you. I'm down with you. You were there with me from the beginning. I'm going to be there with you from the beginning to the end. There's no way I would have left them. That is ridiculous. Like, I mean, if they were doing what they said they were doing, helping these businesses start up, because there ain't no bank that helped me start up nothing. They haven't loaned me nothing. They don't loan me nothing now, and I've been in business 30 years, and I wouldn't ask them for nothing. Thank God. No. But, I mean, they're getting stuff with no collateral. These things, they get opportunities that we can't even imagine, and then can't even be loyal with it. That's amazing. We are loyal people. But sometimes I see that on the decline, like we don't think that that has value, but loyalty has value. So then I go down with the bank, and me and the business, you know, the bank is me and the bank, you know, we're down. But that I know that I have the FDIC. I know my situation. And I'm not gonna have $500,000 in one account when I know my insurance is only for $250. So there's a point where it's like you're stupid. But like you said, Biden made everybody whole in that situation. So if you on the right ship, you're gonna be good. Whoever was on that one was on the right ship.
You know, I was listening. It's a radio station here that plays old radio programs on Sunday night. And they played Roosevelt's almost 90 years to the day. He went on the radio and he declared a bank holiday. Almost the same thing happened back in like 1933, I think it was 33, yeah. Wow. 2 days after he got inaugurated, he declared a blank holiday. Then he went on the radio and basically did what Biden did to calm everybody down. So the same type of thing, basically almost 90 years, so it was all the banks because it was the Depression, you know.
Yeah.
And they played, it was his first fireside chat, they called it.
I love it. I love it.
The inauguration, that's when he first said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
And it's true. Because now everybody's afraid about the Federal Reserve increasing interest rates next week. You know. And I think it would be good if they do, like if they just continue to stick to the plan, because if they don't, everybody will get terrified, like we really have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like they did decrease, they did, you know, I think they should, if that was, you know, this regional bank in California is not a nation make. You know, like that, if the plan, and we're supposed to trust you that you're getting us on track and strong as a country, you need to stick to the plan to keep my confidence, Federal Reserve. You know, we've already factored that into the market. So if they don't, we can't win. If they don't, you know, that, you know, it's going to be like, why didn't they? They know something we don't know. It's going to tank. I think it would be worse if they don't, you know, like, yeah, like, oh, and they'll just break it down. They'll just break it down. oh, they didn't because, this is they didn't because this is, this is, we're going into, nah, I don't even want to say the word, but it's, I'll it'll stick with the plan and they can get it over with and we can start moving forward. I believe that if they would just go ahead and do it by the end of the year, we could have this behind us, and the market could start to move up again. And then I would rather them go up and then come back like the end of the year or first quarter of next year and take them back down than to not stick to the plan now. This is not worthy of that, of them not sticking to their plan. If they had a valid plan. Yeah,
Okay, I got a question about FDIC, SPIC. You talked about that Saturday.
that's all.
So if
SIPC.
a customer has, I think it's what SIPC, so whatever that number is, instead of 250,000, what is it, 100? Is it a million or something? If my assets in the bank were like 30 million, are you saying that I was able to retrieve all 30 million of my dollars? Is that what happened? And so I was out of the.
But that had nothing to do with SIPC, Security Investor Protection Corporation, is for brokerage accounts. So that's for the brokerage side, for my side of the business.
All right.
So yeah, but the cash in a brokerage account still has FIDC. So FDIC, yeah. And then the brokerage part has FS as in Sam, IPC, Security Investor. And then the other one is Federal Depository. Yeah, okay.
I am Joe Blow and Company, and my assets were 15 million. I got all 15 million of my dollars back. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that he made good. Yeah.
He wasn't, that's not part of the law, but Biden just decided to do that, I believe.
But it would have to have been in cash. That's what the FDIC is covering what they had in cash.
Let's say 10 million of that was in cash. I get all 10 million back.
Well, he probably exaggerated that word, but yeah, theoretically, if he said I'm making good on everything, he'd have to.
Yeah, but
everybody got all their money back.
Yeah. Because I saw a guy on CNBC Monday morning, and he said a few minutes before the interview, he had checked, and his money was there. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't get everything that quick.
Like you say, when they want to,
Exactly.
So explain to me the collision, because I'm kind of like really not getting it. If everybody got their money back, what was the point in the collision in the first place?
Well, the insurance company got them their money back. That's that the insurance made good. Now they're going in to figure out how much the company is going to pay the insurance company back. So all that is like you totaled your car. The company came in and gave you your money. Now the company is coming in and taking the car, trying to see how much he can get for the pieces. So the weird part is the guy that took over the company is acting like he still has a company. So the other point is, why are you acting like you have a company? Because the government has to start selling off what you have left. I mean, they literally have to sell everything, like the building, you know what I mean? That everything, like whatever that bank owns, they have to use to make good on everything they just made good on.
All of the bank's fixed assets.
Exactly, everything. Yeah, it's all theirs. In order to get that FDIC, it was collateralized with deposits and assets. So that's why they came in, took it over before they lost everything. The government seized the company.
How many billions? I think I heard you say, how many billions of dollars?
I didn't.
No, it's on Saturday. Then you mentioned that Silicon Valley's assets were like how many billions?
I didn't. Somebody else probably did. I didn't. I don't think I ever like spoke the figure, but it's big. It was huge.
I think it's
mean, it was
110 billion.
it was huge.
110 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I heard. Well, maybe you didn't say it, but I think I heard
Yeah.
somebody say it.
That sounds like something Moses would say. I don't know. Look, I'm not throwing out. Here's my figures: big, medium, small.
I heard a congressman I saw today. He said in December there were people that saw something, that something was wrong with the bank.
When?
In December.
Yeah, right.
That's what he's saying,
And then there's the 48 hours. Look, my conspiracy theory is that the big bank told all of them, come here and I'll make good on it. And those who, listen, got the email and went. Because how everybody go to the same big bank? Everybody I saw on TV went to the same big bank.
You know what? Also, I look at the fact that why did it happen on a Friday?
Yeah, and why it happened on a Friday?
And
on my birthday. On my birthday.
And by Monday, all of the money's back. Everybody's good.
Exactly. Y'all could have found another Friday, just like with the COVID, National Health on March 10th, all over the globe. I don't know exactly that if you have a joint account, there's more than both of you are covered. Yes. Yeah, I think I sent that graphic to you also, Mr. Walton. I think he's might be talking about me. But yeah, and I sent that on the notes that we were talking about on Saturday. Mr. Walton was talking about that when I was I was saying each social. Remember, I was saying like each social has 250, and then I was like, I'm gonna make sure that it's not each social because I remember like having a test on that, something, all these different tests I had, and I was like, and it actually on their website, and I have the graphic, and I sent it to Ms. Walton because she had asked about that because some people like keep a lot of cash, and that is per account. So you could have an IRA with 200 under your social, and then a individual account with your social with 250, and then another even corporate account that you have your social on, or a sole proprietor account with your social. As long as they're different types of accounts, you could get 250 for each account. Even if it's a joint account, you've got 250 of coverage, and then your joint owner has 250 of coverage. Exactly, Mr. Walton. Yeah. So it's per type of account, not just restricted to your social. Yeah. So so you could have like more than 250 at one financial institution. That's what I was telling the TV station that was interviewing me on that, because he was saying that one advisor was saying have a lot of different banks, but it was probably because they were on my side of the business, an investment person, and they didn't understand how FDIC works, because we don't really have to deal with it. We're SIPC people, but really our accounts have both. Generally, I know my accounts have both. For the cash portion, you have that anyway. So I don't know. I'm not making excuses for why he tell people to have a lot of different banks, but you don't have to have a lot of different banks. You just have to have different accounts types. But if you want to have a lot of individual accounts with this 250,000, and you don't want to have a brokerage account, then you might have to go somewhere else. But that might be also like why. But you know what? Once you say like money market, a lot of times the money market is not FDIC insured. So people have to be careful with that. You know, like and even on the investment side, like the SIPC is not insuring you against loss. It's just insuring you against that company going out of business and you losing your money. That's it. It's,
But
you know,
Biden said toward the end, he actually said that people that invested, he just point blank said, you assume the risk. You don't get any money back. That's capitalism.
Oh, I know. Wasn't that something? I saw that. It was like, why does he have to explain that? Why is he going there? Okay, Jim Cramer. Wouldn't it be funny if he started acting like Jim Cramer? Like, you know, no, that's your risk.
That's pretty much, that's what he said, basically. You know, you don't.
Exactly. Like
Wasn't part of the 2008 problem have to do with credit default swaps, which would pay you back if you lost money?
They were, well, some of those, they were like making up the mortgages. And you're saying they were supposed to pay you back if you lost money?
Yeah.
No, well, they weren't paying the customer back, but I think that some of them were made for commercial lenders
Right.
to for them on that side to pay them back if it defaulted. Yeah, it was probably them lying to each other, and then a lot of the loans defaulted, you know, and then they ran out of people to swap it to, probably. Like, you know what I mean? They were like, let's swap it, you know, and they were just swap. They ran out of swaps because all of them were defaulted. Which would make sense because if everything starts defaulting and you're swapping defaulted loans,
Nowhere
there's
to
like,
go.
you know what I mean? Yeah, you have nothing to swap it with. Exactly. But that's kind of tacky, right? They were like they were swapping defaulted loans.
I saw a special
See
on
that?
CNBC, but all those people knew the special was called a house. I think it was called a House of Cards. They found an email somebody left. I hope I'm long gone when this House of Cards falls, because they knew
Yep.
the housing crisis was going to happen.
It's like that crazy girl that was making that blood test thing. Remember? And she was like
Thanos.
doing, yeah, and the employees were like, this thing don't work. And she was like, just run it. Like, you know, that's terrible to work somewhere like that. Like, I asked that guy, like, how do you feel when you go home? Like, you have to hear some of the comments when I ask people stuff like that. Like, how do you feel when you go home and you hurt people like this? I don't know how people do that. How to work somewhere and you know you blatantly harmed someone. Thank God that they could, you know, I don't know a dollar figure that is worthy of harming someone. But people do it. I said something like, they were doing something to my customer, and I said, how do you sleep? And they said, I sleep well. Oh, and it was a sister too. I said, how do you sleep at night? It was at the federal government, yeah. I called the TSP. I said, how do you sleep? I sleep well. All right, sis. Look, and I had the nerve to say sis. I said, all right, sis, I'm not your sister. I said, okay. Can we get somewhere else? Is it possible that I can get past you in any way? Just to help this customer. They were sitting there with her. They were sitting there with this client, $125,000, was just sitting there at the federal government for 90 days. Gave her no interest, nothing. They just took it, didn't put it back in her account, nothing, just sat it there. Yes, we realized that it came here. Yes, we did receive it. I sent it with a track. Like I said, that's the best thing for you to do. If she wanted to send it back, she had made a mistake. Somebody came in there and just was like telling her how to send it from some product. And I was like, oh no, you don't want to do that. But it was horrible, but she was made good. But it took like 4 months. That's it.
See, once underhandedness, you let it become a practice.
Yeah.
You relinquish all of
Yeah.
what you ever thought might have even been underhanded. So no, it's no longer underhanded anymore to you.
Yeah. And
You don't see it the same way.
The customer service at the government thrift savings plan is so bad that there's 2 Congress people who are trying to put it under special investigation.
Yeah, they sent an email. They say it'll be the first part of next year.
When they're going to start doing that.
Yeah.
They're going to have it together by then. You know how many people are going to be tortured? I'm scared to ring their number. There was one lady, because remember they lost they still haven't put in old information because they switched from one system to another. So everybody lost like all of their old data. So they lost people's beneficiaries. So people have died and they don't have their beneficiaries in the system. And they don't know, that they didn't have their system, or they could have been in the hospital for the last 6 months. So they think, well, we have a recording. Well, people don't wake up and call their retirement account every day. It's a recording when you call in. Well, why would they call in and think you lost their beneficiary? Why don't you call them? No, that would be too much like right. So this lady was like, what should my friend do? Her husband died and they don't have her as the beneficiary and she needs the money for the funeral. I said, I don't know. Like, this is gonna be a long process. I hope she gonna find that money somewhere else. That's horrible. I don't know what. Oh, see all that estate work and paperwork and So anybody listening that works for the federal government, make sure you check because when they switched, they lost a lot of beneficiaries. And I've seen that at a lot of companies. Even Philip Morris did that. Switched from one custodian for the retirement to another, lost everybody's beneficiary, and people have died. Or I have one client, her sister became disabled, and they don't have, next of kin, anything in the database anymore. So I know we should, I guess, just check every year, maybe make a point of every anniversary, just check beneficiaries on a particular January. But we just have to check those accounts. Don't leave. That's why I don't think we should leave, just leave assets behind when you leave places. I think money does better when you are managing it. When you take care of it. It's like having the back of your head, we still talk about the kitchen and you don't ever comb it. It's gonna get nappy. So if you got money and you leave it back there, it's gonna get messed up. Something's gonna go wrong. It's just not gonna grow for you like the money that's maintained would. It ain't gonna look good. And it happens. So we talked about banks, we talked about interest rates, we talked about the FDIC, SIPC, the acronyms. What else? We talked about, the market. Any money that we have in the stock market, it's got to be a commitment for the long term. It's, that's what it's there for. And a lot of you, your funds are down, but you have to remember you still could be up. Like in a meeting that I had today, I was like, well, you have to, really look at what your principal of your account is, not like the highest your account ever was, but where did you start? You started with 10 million, and one time you got to 30 million, and now you're at 20 million. You're mad because you're not at 30 million, but remember, you were at 10 million when you started. You're still way ahead of where you started. And that's what we have to remember. Right? Happy birthday, Miss Golightly. Y'all say happy birthday to Renee Golightly. Renee Golightly. You should come in.
Happy birthday.
Yes, indeed. You got a birthday from
Happy
the
birthday.
Reverend. Arise is now on YouTube. You recorded today, Reverend Bozeman?
Yeah.
I got to hear it. What was your topic today?
Building your spiritual power.
I love it. And then WIDA last week became the AfroEconomics Member of the Year 2023.
Hey!
Yes, he did. And this they will one day have this. And Reverend Bozeman is 2022, and Moses Jenkins is quickly becoming 2024 because he sent me a Boosa T-shirt. Look just like my bike. I said, I kick WIDA to the curb for you. I will kick her to the curb. I should have checked my mail before I announced it. Oh my goodness. Wouldn't that have been funny? It still would have worked because he loves motorcycles. When I said they love motorcycles, and there's a Moses Jenkins, that would have been funny. I know. Mr. Johnson would have been like, I swear I thought it was WIDA. Oh, I don't know if Mr. Jenkins loves guns, though. I said, and they love guns. Mr. Jenkins like, no, I do not love guns. Do you love guns, Mr. Jenkins?
I wouldn't mind learning how to shoot,
Really?
taking the class, yeah.
Yeah. Your wife is lucky that we don't live close to you because we have two women that be bad impressions. Your wife be like, these two women are going to stop coming over my house. Got my husband riding motorcycles and shooting. Her friends would be like, what? That's what they do? Yeah, they just shoot guns and ride motorcycles. Exactly. They be like, what they look like? She said, they ain't ugly, but they're not ugly. That's the best she could give us. She was like, they not ugly. We're not ugly. But they like guns and motorcycles. But we're not ugly, and I comb my kitchen. Tell your wife I comb my kitchen. Oh my goodness.
It just happened to be right here near me.
Oh, wow.
Just happened.
Exactly. You funny, crazy girl. Exactly.
I mean, since you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just happened to have one in the chamber, too.
Exactly. I only got 6. How many you got?
In the chamber or?
The whole thing. Like 15, 12, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, my.
4 and 5 or 9.
No, that's way too many.
4 belong to my dad. They belong to my dad.
Oh, no, I mean, how many bullets does that gun take?
This holds 9.
9 and that, too. 9 is your number today.
Yep. 9 is my number. Okay.
9, exactly. That's funny. It's both 9. 9 guns. Lower, Moses. You don't need to buy one. Just go over her house.
But the 4 that were my dad's, they're not really good. They're just yeah. One, the barrel's bent, that kind of thing. One has a stocking wrapped around it.
Oh, that's so nice.
But because it belongs to my dad.
That's so nice. I gotta see these things. We're gonna look at them like they. What is this? What is this? And Moses went to the Baltimore auto show, and he showed me that a tag for the Jeep is like $70,000. A Wrangler, but then I saw it was a 4-door, but that's still a lot of money for a Wrangler. $70,000.
It started 31.
That was a 2-door. I have the 2-door.
The base price is 31.
Yeah, on the 2-door or that 4-door.
I think it must be the 2-door.
Yeah, it must. That's not that much because I got mine 10 years ago, about, and it was 25. That's not bad.
So, Mr. Jenkins, is my Hellcat, is it on its way?
The other
How
ones
much was that? How much was that? How much were they? Like near 100?
No, they were the ones at the show were like 40, 50 in there.
Oh, that wasn't good, but they weren't nice like hers.
No,
Wait, that wasn't the Hellcat then. That
Oh.
would just be okay.
That was just a Challenger or something. Yeah.
They're not slow now. I mean,
Yeah, but it didn't have the 2 colors and the red in the front and the black and.
No.
Yes, indeed.
Little cat on the side.
How about bonds? Like, I've seen some bond funds that are down like 30%. Government bond funds. That's the only thing about bonds in a fund, in a mutual fund, because the bond, like the fund, has all these bonds in it, and when they raise interest rates, the bonds in it, lose value. The value of all of them, is less because the interest that those bonds are paying out is lower than the new ones because they've just increased interest rates.
Yeah, that's what part of what happened to SVB was that their bonds were all obsolete because their interest rates were too low, and nobody would buy them.
I wonder what they were doing bonds anyway. They were trying anything, I guess. they were like, we raise money any way we can do it. But yeah, that's bonds. I mean, but there's a market there though, because some people really, want the interest, and some people trade bonds like stocks. So we don't think about it though, but you can trade them out, and if we in that reverse move, when these interest rates start going down, those old bonds, are going to be sold at a premium. So that, and that will happen one day. But I think that when we think about bonds, people just automatically think, oh, you can't lose money in bonds, or bonds are always guaranteed, and bonds, no, there's still risk in there. There's risk in everything that we do. There's absolutely nothing that we can do that doesn't involve some risk. Even not doing anything is a risk. Correct? Because the price of everything is going up. So if we don't invest, we can't live, like, we can't. The cost of living is constantly going up, so we have to invest so that we can maintain our standard of living. If we get afraid to invest, then you cannot continue to prosper. You're not going to be able to grow or enhance your standard of living. And that's a challenge. When you look at just salaries, people's income, has not gone up to keep pace with the cost of things. So it makes it real important that we learn how to buy assets, and that we learn how to make sure that everything that we do is an asset to us. But, too many of us weren't programmed that way. We just waste money. But we really should, like everything that we buy, we should be buying for, how can I make money with this? How can I turn this into something? What can I do with this? You know, I hope that you all have noticed that about me. Like everything I do, like is I know how to turn it into something that is going to enhance the value of Afroeconomics. You know, Mama, you know, God is just so good that like that is the way that we were meant to be, constantly improving, you know, that asset, that major asset that we have, you know, is us. You know, we weren't meant to be like feeding ourselves like toxics and doing toxic stuff and, you know, bringing down the value of us. That's bringing down us, and we're the main asset. So, you know, making sure that we're always improving ourselves, increasing our knowledge, getting smarter, doing positive things, creating a positive environment, keeping toxic people from around you, and creating positivity, right? Right? Right. Like, I mean, people should be like writing books all the time. Like I used to, you know, think about the money I used to waste on cars and stuff, you know, and I wrote a book for less than what it costs to buy a car. You know, and then, you know, sometimes I think about, you know, the classes that I take, but I enjoy the classes. And then in the scheme of things, you know, they're still cheaper than a lot of stuff. Some people like go on trips and, you know, things like that. I really don't get off on that at this stage in my life. There's going to be a time where y'all know, I'm going to be like, I went to so-and-so and I jumped out of an airplane over the so-and-so, but I'm not there. I love being here right now. So why not learn? Invest in that. Invest in learning. But that asset will always pay off if you make it always pay off. Mm-hmm. It's only a waste of money if you make it a waste of money. Right? It's only a waste if you let it be a waste. That I was telling a client about renovating her basement. I was like, well, you can always rent it out. Then it becomes a tax deduction. So we gotta talk through stuff. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all. Can y'all hear this? Like can you hear my music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah.
It was in the system. It's called it has different channels. It even had a hip hop channel, and it was not hip hop at all. I don't know what they think hip hop is. I need to send them some hip hop for them. this, you know, I would have had the hip hop. So, but we have this one. It is fun. Now I got music without getting a copyright infringement. I can't wait to see what it sounds like to y'all. But I see you, Weta.
Yeah, I hear it.
That's so good. That's good. I don't know how it did it, but it's like somebody's in the studio, but they're not. Like they have them like sitting. It has it like sitting there. I am just a technology person. Mm-hmm. If I learn one thing new every week, look, before y'all go, and this is the other thing I learned last week. So look, boom. But it's kind of covering it.
Oh.
But the thing, you can.
Very cool.
Yeah, right? Dude,
yeah.
You are right there. And then zap right to membership and take advantage. And there's also free offer. You'll see, look, I have that up there. But the free offer one across the top. And then you can go and do the free offer or do one of these memberships. So you can do the individual, the family, entrepreneurship, or this is just all online, or the e-empowerment and the health and wealth is also, I wanted to make sure that I mention, because it is ready to go. I have to make sure that Ryan adds it up. But the health and wealth is when we talk a lot during our meetings about health also. And we was like, yeah, JB, you already do that. But it would be like, so, but it would be for the person who really wants to be an accountability partner for your health goals. Because I'm like, somebody else might want to do the things that I've done, and if I can help you, I really want to. And I think I have an instructor that is going to do an online fitness class for us once a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. So I have our health class, I'm pretty sure. And my goal is to offer it to members for free. At least from the jump off. So that I just want to see what would be good for him. He's in Maryland area near Mr. Jenkins, and I want to make sure that he does a program for Reverend Bozeman and Mr. Jenkins and Ms. Davis and me, so that we all can feel comfortable, and even people sitting, we all feel comfortable. So if you want to sit, or you want to be on the floor, or you want to do pull-ups like Reverend Bozeman, like, he be like this. Pull-ups and push-ups. You can't keep up with Reverend Bozeman, Mr. Jenkins, but you'll get there. You'll get there on your bicycle. Reverend Bozeman be running past you on the bike. It's like, Moses, catch up.
All right.
Get it together. Catch up. Take care. I'll see y'all soon.
Okay.
If you have any questions, y'all
night.
know where I am. Good night, good night.
See you Friday.
Y'all. Friday. Yes, indeed.
All right.
Bye-bye. And that number is 1-844-522-7926. Yeah. 1-844-522-7926. 1-844-JBBRYAN. And I'll put that on the announcement. That's why it's rang a couple of times, but just leave a message and we'll definitely get you set up tomorrow. Take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye. Good night, Mr. Jefferson. Good night, Queen Howard. Good to see you, Miss Talia Farrow. You see everybody saying happy birthday, Miss Go Lightly. That's right. That's right. That's even Quentin P said happy birthday, Miss Go Lightly. That's right. Oh, that's so sweet. So good to see you, Mr. Jefferson. Good to see you, Angela. Peace right back to you. You, indeed. Y'all so great. I love it. Have a wonderful week. We'll have a Thursday, Friday nap. I have a competition this weekend in Baltimore. Pray for me. Take care. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Oh, you talking about it. Go lightly, but I took it like mine. I did. I had one too. Good night, Mr. Noel. I forgot the name of that restaurant, Mr. Jefferson. I know. I'm probably taking my chicken in my bag. Amen. But thank you. Thank you for all the empowerment. Y'all are a blessing to me. Thank you. Have a great night.